All right. Okay, here we go. Number 1. A low pressure system in the northern hemisphere has a surface air circulation pattern that is what? Clockwise or counterclockwise? So we know if it's low pressure, we can get rid of clockwise. So it's either C or D. Number 2. And this goes along with page, I think it's 14. In which planetary wind belt do most storms move toward the northeast? Is it the 30 degrees north to 60 degrees north? 0 to 30 degrees north? 0 to 30 degrees south? 30 degrees south to 60 degrees south. Which planetary wind belt do most storms move towards the northeast? So we know we can get rid of D, right? And we know we can get rid of C. Are you good, Luz?
Yeah.
Okay. Which processes lead to cloud formation when humid air rises over India? So you have to break it down. Is it compression or expansion? So it's either compression, warming to the dew point, and condensation. Compression, warming to the dew point, and evaporation. We're looking for cloud formation. Expansion, cooling to the dew point, and condensation. Expansion, cooling to the dew point, and evaporation. Number 4. A weather model is shown below. Which information shown on the station model is most closely associated with measurements from an anemometer? You guys remember that a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Do you? You do? You good? Okay, because I was going to pull up mine. All right. A line marks a frontal boundary advancing in a southeasterly direction. Which weather map symbol best represents the air mass X and the frontal boundary shown on the map? Number 6. On which station model would the present weather symbol, looks like an asterisk, most likely be found? Page 13. The asterisk is actually the symbol for snow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're unsure, definitely look at your temperature, right? So we know it definitely cannot be 6, or sorry, A, right? Because the temperature on A is 70 degrees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we know that if it's sunny, there's not really going to be snow. Number 7. The accompanying graph shows the change in carbon dioxide concentration in parts per million in Earth's atmosphere from 1960 to 1990. The most likely cause of the overall change in the level of carbon dioxide from 1960 to 1990 is an increase in what? We can get rid of A and B. Number 8. Why are carbon dioxide and water vapor called the greenhouse gases? They are found in varying amounts in Earth's atmosphere. They are found in fixed amounts in Earth's bedrock. They are good reflectors of infrared radiation, or they are good absorbers of infrared radiation. That kind of went along with which page was that? Talked about the infrared. On page 14, I kind of talked a little bit about that. Good? Okay. Let's see. It says the map of a portion of eastern North America shows a high pressure center, the H, and a low pressure center, an L. Frontal boundaries in the present weather conditions. What was the most likely source region for the air mass over Pennsylvania? Over Pennsylvania. New York State, the Pacific Ocean, Gulf of Mexico, or Canada. Let's get rid of B and C. So it's either A or D. Number 10. Which cross-section best represents how surface winds form by mid-afternoon near a shoreline on a hot summer day?
Wait, for this one,
For which?
since those circles are half circles, it's not one crop. So wouldn't it?
And it says formed over Pennsylvania, right? So
wouldn't that be a warm crop?
I can't say. But if you think about it, the Gulf of Mexico is way down below, so it's not C.
Sure.
Correct? And the Pacific Ocean is all the way on the other side of California. So that's why I took away B and C, okay? But any kind of air source region, usually you have to think of why it's over Pennsylvania, okay? Let's see, number 10. Which cross-section best represents how surface winds form by mid-afternoon near a shoreline on a hot summer day? Number 11. The weather map shows a low pressure system over New York State on a July day. The L represents the center of the low, and two fronts extend from this center. Locations of some cities are indicated. If the center of that low pressure system follows a normal storm track, towards which city would the center of this low most likely move? We can get rid of A. Number 12. Mount Marcy, Mr. Andrew talks a lot about this, often has the coldest nighttime temperatures in New York State because of its what? Latitude or longitude, elevation or planetary winds. Find the two that make the most sense. Okay. Number 13. The cross-section below represents prevailing winds moving over a coastal mountain range. Letters A through D represent locations. So which location will most likely have the least annual precipitation? A, B, C, or D? The least amount of annual precipitation. Okay, let's see here. Number 14. This map shows the weak trade winds and strong equatorial countercurrent in the Pacific Ocean during El Nino conditions. This causes warm surface ocean water to migrate eastward, lowering the atmospheric pressure above this warm water. What are the most likely changes to atmospheric temperature and precipitation along that west coast of South America during the El Nino conditions? First, you have to decide whether it would be lower temperatures or higher temperatures, and whether it would be lower or higher amounts of precipitation. Okay, number 15. The diagram below shows an instrument used in weather forecasting. What does that instrument measure? Atmospheric what? We can get rid of,
C and D.
let's get rid of
Am I right?
A and B.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, so kind of gave us a little diagram below shows temperature readings on a weather instrument. So this will be a little bit based on those readings, the relative humidity. So you're going to use the bottom one. But first we kind of have to figure out what is, you guys, what is the dry bulb temp? What do you think it is, Kylie?
25.
25. And what's our wet bulb?
15.
Okay, so we find the difference between 25 and 15. You have to use your calculator, absolutely. Then you take your dry bulb and you go to the relative humidity chart and you use your difference. Luce, are you set with that one? Or are you still working on it? Yes? Okay. So you're using the bottom chart and you're using the difference between 15 and 25 and the dry bulb of 25 or whatever it was. I can't remember. Okay. Number 17. A cross section of a weather front is shown below. Direction of movement, continental, polar, maritime, tropical. Which symbol would be used to represent this front on a weather map? The continental polar. Number 18. Which type of air mass would most likely form over the Pacific Ocean north of the Aleutian Trench? The Pacific Ocean over the Aleutian Trench. Number 19. London, England is located at approximately 51 degrees 30 north latitude and 0 degrees longitude. Elmira, New York is located at approximately 42.10 degrees north latitude and 76 and 54 west longitude. What is one reason why London has a warmer average winter temperature than Elmira? Okay, we definitely know London is not closer to the equator, right? So they're wondering why it has a warmer average winter. Warmer average winter. Take away A. Is it London is located at a higher elevation? London's climate is modified by the North Atlantic Ocean current. London's climate is modified by its longer duration of insolation. Number 20. Which event temporarily slows or reverses surface ocean currents in the equatorial region of the Pacific Ocean, causing a disruption of normal weather patterns? This temporarily slows or reverses surface ocean currents. Is it a tsunami, a volcanic eruption, El Nino, or deforestation? 21. In the northern hemisphere, surface surrounds the center of a hurricane. So we know a hurricane is what? Is it good weather or bad weather? It's lousy weather. So we know a low, you have to think of which direction the low goes. So, are you set with that one? A low pressure. Number 22. Which atmospheric temperature zone, okay, is located between 8 and 32 miles above Earth's surface and contains an abundance of ozone? So what page are we on for that one?
15.
Between 8 and 32 miles above. So we see the miles there, right? That first block is 25 miles. So we can definitely get rid of D, and we can get rid of C. So it's either A or B. And it says an abundance of ozone. So it's either the troposphere or the stratosphere. Okay. Which list contains 3 major greenhouse gases found in Earth's atmosphere? Let's see. Okay. Yep. I would agree with you. Get rid of B and D. 24. What is the approximate percent of oxygen by volume present in Earth's lower atmosphere? Okay, so it's either 21%, 33, 46, or 94. In Earth's lower atmosphere, which is the troposphere, and if you look over to the concentration, this little number right here, kind of like right in there. So we can get rid of 94, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll take away. Yeah. It's the approximate. I mean, we can't give a definite. Approximate percent of oxygen by volume present in Earth's lower atmosphere. Okay. What is the dew point? If the relative humidity is 100% and the air temperature is 20. So they didn't give us a dry bulb and a wet bulb. They kind of gave us the relative humidity is 100%. So they already gave us the relative humidity, right? So you kind of have to go to where it says 100%. And the air temperature, which is the same thing as your dry bulb, is 20. Then you take that number and you go up to the next to find the dew point with the same dry bulb number. I know it's a weird thing. It's hard to explain.
Mm-hmm.
Just a second for that one. Okay, so we can take away, for that one, number 25, take away A and B. Okay, number 26, which station model shows an air temperature of 75? Okay, so we can get rid of what, A and C, and a barometric pressure of 99.6.3. So what would you do to figure out what those last 3 numbers actually would be? You would get rid of that decimal and you would grab the last 3 numbers to figure that one out. So it's either B or D. Are you on that one, Ken? Are you done with number 26? Luce, are you set with 26? Okay. 27. Okay. The dew point is 15. They gave us the dew point. And what is the wet bulb temperature on a sling psychrometer if the dry bulb temp is 18? So they already told us the dew point was 15. And the dry bulb was 18. So they want to know what would be, what is the wet bulb temperature? They would want to know. Number 28. The map below shows the locations of Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Springfield, Missouri. Virginia Beach experiences cooler summers and warmer winters than Springfield, Virginia. because Virginia Beach, what? Look how much is located closer. So they want to know Virginia Beach. Is it located closer to the Atlantic Ocean? Is it located closer to the equator? Has a greater average yearly duration of insolation? Has a greater average yearly intensity of insolation? So why would it be warmer in the winters and cooler in the summers? 29. Let's see. The arrows on the cross section represent the air movement along a weather front between two different air masses. The air masses are labeled, so you've got a continental polar hitting a maritime tropical. Clouds are forming along the front because the rising air is doing what? Is it contracting or expanding? Is it causing evaporation or condensation? I think this is the last one. Number 30. Which map shows normal paths followed by low pressure storm centers as they pass across the United States? So we got to think. We can get rid of A. Let's get rid of B. So it's either C or D. He always says our weather moves this way across the United States. So how did we all do?
Well,
Did you do good?
yeah.
Okay. Luce, you all set?
66.
What was that?
And then 66.
66?
Yeah. I don't know.
Open. And I will unplug it. But she's got to do something with it. I just carried her. Thanks, I appreciate it.
I feel like I want to